Good morning, Cullman. I'm your host, Katie Spicer, and thank you for joining us on Cullman Today. It's Wednesday, February 7th, 2024, and we have a lot to cover with new community initiatives, healthcare advancements, and sports highlights. Stay tuned for more information on the grand opening of Hawkins Medical and Wellness, Cullman City Schools Job Fair, and the Iron Bowl of basketball. Of course, we'll also take a look at the weather ahead to help you start your day off strong. So now, let's dive into our top stories. On Tuesday, February 6, 2024, Cullman Mayor Woody Jacobs proclaimed the month of February 2024 Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in the city of Cullman. On hand to accept the official proclamation from Victim Services of Cullman were Jessica Atchley, Interim Executive Director, Lacey Lemley, Outreach Advocate, and Gwen Parker, Board President. The month of February is set aside across the country as a time to raise awareness about the issue of teen dating violence through Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. We appreciate Victim Services for addressing the issue of teen dating violence, said Mayor Jacobs. Helping young people learn how to avoid unhealthy or abusive relationships will benefit them greatly throughout their lives. Dating violence is very common, especially among teens and young adults. Studies show that 1 in 3 teens in the U.S. will experience physical, sexual, or emotional abuse from someone they're in a relationship with before they become adults, and nearly half of college women report experiencing violent or abusive dating behaviors. Hawkins Medical and Wellness, one of Cullman's newest direct primary care offices, hosted their grand opening last night. The first 25 guests to arrive were gifted with baskets from the practice full of goodies, thanking them for attending. Hawkins Medical and Wellness is a membership-based provider taking the middleman and health insurance and co-pays out of the way, allowing patients to have direct care for less than their typical monthly insurance costs. Run by Jeremy and J.C. Hawkins, this family-owned practice boasts the same next-day scheduling, along with full-spectrum health care, infusions, and a weight management program. Cullman Regional is proud to welcome board-certified OB/GYN Lance Justice, D.O., to the medical group. Dr. Justice attended medical school at West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine in Lewisburg, West Virginia, followed by a residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Oklahoma State University Medical Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was named the American College of Osteopathic Obstetricians and Gynecologists National Mentor of the Year in 2022. Dr. Justice provides treatment for the following: uncomplicated pregnancy, high-risk pregnancy, routine well woman exams, routine teen exams, contraceptive counseling, polycystic ovary syndrome, infertility, pelvic pain, abnormal bleeding, cervical dysplasia, vulvar disorders, and pellet therapy for males and females. Starting March 1st, Dr. Justice will care for patients at Cullman Regional Medical Group OB/GYN Clinic at 1948 Alabama 157, Professional Office Building 1, Suite 330, Cullman, Alabama 35058. To schedule an appointment with Dr. Justice, call 256-735-5277. For more information, visit online at cullmanregionalmedicalgroup.com. Now that we have the top stories out of the way, we're going to take a quick break before returning with sports. Hello and welcome back. Now it's time to find out what's going on in the world of sports with stories from Cullman Tribune sports editor Nick Griffin. After defeating Decatur in the final week of the regular season, Cullman faced the Red Raiders once again Monday night in the opening round of the area tournament. 4 quarters weren't enough to settle the third matchup of the season between these two teams. Cullman was trailing by 1 with just 2 seconds on the clock in overtime, but the Lady Bearcats point guard Allie Sharp got the game-winning shot to fall just before time expired to give Cullman a dramatic 63-62 win and a spot in this year's 6A Area 14 Finals. Sharp posted a game-high of 25 points for the Lady Bearcats, and Cadence Handback finished with 13. With the win, the Cats will advance to play in the sub-regional round as well. Cullman will be back at Hartselle High School Wednesday at 6 p.m. to battle the Lady Tigers for the area tournament championship. Several other local teams were spread out and competing in their area tournaments Monday night, but unfortunately, Colt Springs and Cullman were the only ones able to collect wins. On the girls' side, both the Lady Broncos of Holly Pond and the Lady Aggies of Fairview fell on the road to Decatur Heritage and Scottsboro, respectively. Ava Thomas led Holly Pond with 13 points in the loss, and Jayla Gorham led the way for Fairview with 16 points. In the boys' tournaments, Decatur Heritage topped Holly Pond 60-44 despite a 23-point effort from Broncos guard Colin Brown, and West Point fell to Lawrence County 69-59. Jay Lamar led the Warriors with 20 points in the loss. Both Holly Pond's girls and boys teams will be on the road to play a sub-regional game Friday and Saturday, respectively. The postseason is ramping up for high school basketball teams all over the state this week, but we have a major college hoops matchup on tap as well. After falling to the Crimson Tide in Cullman Coliseum 79-75 a couple weeks ago, Auburn will host the rematch against Alabama at Neville Arena tonight. The Crimson Tide have won 4 straight coming into this week's game against Auburn, averaging 93 points per game during that stretch, and the Tigers are coming off a big road win over Ole Miss. Both Alabama's Mark Sears and Auburn's Johnny Broome have earned SEC Player of the Week honors since their last meeting, but something will have to give when these two teams clash tonight. The Tide and the Tigers will tip it off at 6 p.m. tonight on ESPN2. That covers sports for today, but make sure to check with the Cullman Tribune each day for the latest in sports coverage from across the area. We'll be back after this message. Welcome back to Cullman Today. Now it's time to speed things up with our news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Wallace State Community College's Fine and Performing Arts programs are gearing up for their annual Broadway night scheduled on February 15th at 7 p.m. in the recital hall of the Burrow Center for the Fine and Performing Arts. The showcase, staged and choreographed by Wallace State Fine and Performing Arts students, will present guests with an evening of popular Broadway show tunes. Included in this year's Broadway night set list is student-selected music from Into the Woods, Hamilton, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, White Christmas, Footloose, and Anything Goes. Admission to the performance is a $10 donation. Students from all programs come together to plan and perform Broadway night, showcasing their creativity through staging, choreography, and presentation, said Tiffany Richter, director of the Wallace State Vocal Ensembles. They do an amazing job, and it is always a blast to see how students work with one another to interpret the songs they've selected. Most of us remember reading the book Hatchet by Gary Paulson. Students in 7th grade at Holly Pond were able to get an up-close and personal wildlife and survival education guide from Lindsay Madison from Wild, Alabama, as they read the survivalist novel. The students were able to ask about scenarios that could potentially happen in the event of a disaster or, like the protagonist in Hatchet, a devastating accident, learning skills and tips on how to make the best out of a dangerous or perilous situation and increase their chances of staying safe. The Cullman City School System holds job and opportunities that are coveted by many across the county. If you have ever wanted to be a part of Cullman City School System, now is your chance. Cullman City Schools Superintendent Kyle Koloff said, "In previous years, we invested in attending job fairs in the surrounding areas with little success. This year, we are hosting our own job fair so we can involve all administrators and zero in on qualified applicants who are ready to join one of the best school systems in Alabama." On March 21st from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. in Cullman High School's Tillman Hall, the city school system will hold a job fair for posted positions in certified teaching, cafeteria workers, support personnel, and clerical personnel. Information tables will be available for each department, allowing prospective employees to check out the benefits offered and applied for each position. Turkey shoots have been a part of Pinehart farm history for decades, and they are bringing the turkey shoot back just in time for Valentine's Day. On February 10th, shooters are invited to register and pay $5 a shot for the chance to win one of many great prizes like Valentine's Day themed gift baskets, specialty local meats and baked goods, and so much more. That finishes up our news rundown. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respect with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message. Welcome back. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have passed away this week as we turn to obituaries. Shirley Ann Guthrie. A graveside service for Shirley Ann Guthrie, 74 of Hansville, will be at 1 p.m. Thursday, February 8, 2024 at Prospect Church of Christ Cemetery. A visitation will be prior to the service from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. at Hansville Funeral Home. April Elizabeth Stevenson Pennell. April Elizabeth Stevenson Pennell, 57 of Cullman, Alabama, passed away on Saturday, February 3, 2024 in her home. The family will be having a private service at a later time and wants to thank everyone who chose to be a part of April's life. She will be greatly missed by many. Tony Glenn Hill. Tony Glenn Hill passed away on Sunday, February 4, 2024 at his residence. He was born Saturday, April 21, 1962. There are no services at this time. Cullman Heritage Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. That finishes up obituaries today. Our hearts and prayers go out to their friends and family. Now let's check today's weather forecast. Today will be mostly cloudy with a high near 61. There will be an east wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour, becoming south in the afternoon. Tonight, the low will be around 39. There will be a south-southeast wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, it will continue to be mostly cloudy with a high near 58 and a south wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Looking ahead to tomorrow night, there will be a 30% chance of showers after midnight. The low will be around 48 with a south wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour and gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. That concludes our broadcast for today. Thank you for joining us on Cullman Today, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. for another round of updates and insights into what's happening in our vibrant community. Until then, I'm Katie Spicer, signing off and wishing you a fantastic day ahead.